Guys, I'm out kayaking here on Ping River, and one of the things that I use a lot when I'm out on these trips, that is my Sawyer purification filter. And I thought I wanted to give you a little heads up on how I'm using it, and for those who doesn't know the Sawyer filter here, maybe give you a little impression on what it's before. Well, not what it's for, but how to use it. I really love this one because you can filter about 200 liters of water here, and it all obviously depends on how clean the water is. I've just been down at the Ping River and been refilling my bottles here, and this is how it looks like. Very clean, very nice water. To say the fact, actually, this river is dammed by the Bumibon Dam down in the southern end, so the water level here is significantly higher than it would be by nature, and a lot of the water is actually designated drinking water for the Thai population. Obviously it has to go through some purification process. Anyway, it makes it very, very good water for me when I'm out on these trips. I don't need to carry all the water. I'm using it between 6 and 10 liters of water a day when I'm out on the kayak, in particular in a place like this where I am in between the mountains and there's either absolutely no wind whatsoever and you get double exposure from the sun and the heat is relentless, or on the other hand you get a lot of wind which makes you work harder and the temperature is still the same. So yeah, I don't want to carry around with 15, 20, 25 liters of water every time I'm out on these trips, so this is my go-to solution. The smart thing with the Sawyer water purification is that you can, they have a thread here in the bottom, and that one fits all, for instance, Coca-Cola bottles or similar, which basically means if you have had the Coca-Cola bottle with you and you have been out about and been drinking it and now you need water, all you got to do is just fill it up with contaminated water just from the river or wherever you get it, and screw it onto this one here, and the fresh water, as the arrow shows, goes out on the other end where you have a little cap on to protect it. So it's quite simple, very easy. But every now and then you might find yourself in a situation where it's not been Coca-Cola that you've been craving the most. So when you took off, as I did on this particular trip, then you are off with a big bottle of water. But for some reason that really beats me, I can't see the reason, but I guess everybody have their own way of doing things, then these here are threaded differently. So it does not fit in my Sawyer water purification. So as good as it is to have these water containers that you can bring along with you and fill up whenever you want, you just can't fit it into here. Now you can try squeeze it out into a cup, and I can tell you it will work, but you will be wasting a lot of the water. If you are close to a big bottle of water like this one, it would not be much of a concern, except from the fact you've got to work a lot to make a little bit drinkable water. So I've got another solution for that one. And this is my syringe, the one that follows the Sawyer when you buy it. You get one of these here. The meaning and the purpose of this one is that once you have been used the Sawyer filter here several times, then to make sure that you clean out the filter for all the contaminants that's coming into the filter, you do what we call back flushing it. Basically, you fill this syringe up with clean water, you put it to the other end here and push, and then you basically press all the water back through the filter and all the dirt comes out in the other end. And I can tell you there's a lot of dirt in there if you've been using it for a while with water which is relatively questionable. Anyway, the water here is very clean. So what I decided to do to this trip, where as I said, didn't drink cola, didn't have it with me, it is that I use this one for the contaminated water, and instead of trying to push a little bit of water through with a thread that doesn't work, then what I do is I do like this. Got a boat coming through, and then I just push it in the right way, contaminated, clean water. Put it in here, and I squeeze. Voila! You got clean water in there. Now there's a little advice here. When you do this, make sure that you keep your syringe or your purification filter here a little lower than the glass, or maximum at the same level, because what happens is no matter how well you do this, a little water will slip out, and this also did here. I have water on my hands, and if you do have it higher up here, then eventually what will happen is that the contaminated water will run straight into your glass and you will be back to scratch and have to start all over again. But apart from that, then this works like a charm. Now I cannot backflush my filter here anymore with this one because it's been used for contaminated water. But as I say, the water in this particular case is very, very clean. So it's just a precaution for my sake that I'm actually purifying it with my Sawyer. I probably wouldn't die from drinking it as it is up there. So yeah, now just to make sure when I'm out, you say water is dripping out of it now when I've been using it, just to make sure that it doesn't drip all over my backpack. Then I've taken this top of a Coca-Cola bottle with the thread and just cut it, sliced it off slightly below the thread, and then I just hammered the lid on the Coca-Cola thing on the back on that, and this way I can just screw it into my filter just like this, and wherever I go, if there's any water left or in there that drips out, it doesn't contaminate the rest of my luggage, and whatever I have in there, it's just fixed. So yeah, it was just a quick rundown, and I hope the sound was okay. I didn't have my sound equipment with me, but I just wanted to show you how I use it when I'm out here. And this way, well, you carry a few ounces, and well, not even that, and you will be well off.